Hello and welcome to the show. This is the Sales for the Nigerian Business Person podcast. It's available on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, or any podcast player of your choice. So subscribe for free once you're done listening to this episode and give me a 5-star review. Apologies before we continue. I am in my usual recording space, but the kids are home today, and there's lots of shouting going on in the background. I've tried my best, to make sure that I'm insulated from all that noise. So just in case anything spills through, that is what you are hearing. I'm not in the middle of a war zone. My kids just happen to be at home. So today on the show, I was supposed to have been in Lagos, live and in person recently, to do some work with the Fate Foundation. The program that we were going to do was Sales Dynamics 2, which is on finding and engaging with prospects. And the folks that we were going to address were the awardees for 2023 on the from OCIF. That's the Orange Corners Innovation Fund. Now, those are people, the awardees rather, are people who are either pre-seed or early stage companies who have received financing from the OCIF. So that's it. Anyway, since I wasn't able to make it live and in person, we were able to arrange with the Fate Foundation, and so we had the session virtually. So parts of the other activities that they were supposed to have done, they did in person. My own session, we did virtually. So today's episode is a summary for those who were there so that they can have access to all the good stuff that we discussed. Since during my sessions, I encourage people, there's no need to take notes if you don't have to. I mean, take them if you want to, but you don't have to, because I'm always going to make a summary episode and send it to the organizer so you guys have everything here on tap. And it turns out it was a good thing that I was going to do that, because I've been interacting with some of them after the class. For the people that have reached out, they find the stuff that we talked about really impactful. I'm currently having conversations with one person about the specific things that he wants to apply in his business and how that's going to move the needle. But then again, there are some people who reached out and, of course, they would have loved to be there. One person was sick, another person couldn't make it. And so this is good that I'm making this. So this is for you guys, especially who were not there because you were unwell or some other things came up and you couldn't make the session. So, so let's just go over the stuff that we went over in as brief as possible. So, of course, I introduced myself to the whole class. Not everybody knew me there. Let's see what else. And then we went straight into the topic for the day. Of course, if you remember the topic, sales dynamics, and I tried to explore exactly what sales dynamics means. Dynamics implying motion, which of course is for people in the tech space, that's how they talk about these things anyway. They say go-to-market motions. So a tech person creates an app or whatever it is that they want, and instead of saying they're doing a sales drive or whatever, they say they do go-to-market motions. Pet peeve of mine. I don't know why people can't just say sales. People just seem to come up with all kinds of euphemisms to run around the fact that we're actually salespeople and that we are trying to sell. So anyway, in the tech space, that's what they call it, go-to-market motions. So whether you hear go-to-market motions or sales dynamics, it's all the same. The activities, the things that you're doing to try and introduce your product or service into the hands, the spaces, the faces, the lives of the people who need the thing that you produce. And of course, one of the things that I try to impart on the cohort for 2023 is that this is actually the most important thing that you have to consider in your entrepreneurial journey, because the purpose of a business is to create a customer. And of course, not everybody is aware of that. People think that the purpose of a business is, number one, financial, make me a bunch of money, make me a billionaire. Number two, social impact, lift up my family, lift up my community, rejuvenate the nation. What else? Some people think environmental impact, especially these recycling folks or people who have SDGs at the back of their business. So you think purpose of a business is to save the planet or to save the environment. Let's see, what else? Increase your sphere of personal influence, because some of us use business as a launching pad to other stuff. Get successful in business so that you can run for state governorship back home or become the president of the country or whatever political ambitions that you have. Now, yes, all those things are the purposes of a business, But the reason why the central purpose of a business is to create a customer is because if you don't create a customer, you won't have. If you don't create a customer, then there's nobody to provide the profits that will make you rich. There's nobody to provide the opportunities for you to flex your innovative genius and fix the environment or elevate the community. And whatever artifacts or whatever results you think you're going to achieve from owning a business, it first starts with creating a customer. You don't create a customer, all you have is an expensive hobby. I use the example of the wedding photography example because, of course, that's where I started from. Well, actually, I have a legal background, so started off in the law, but it's still the same. If you're not able to create a customer, then what you have is you've wasted 7 years of legal education and you're broke. Or you bought the camera, you bought the studio space, you've done whatever it is, you've registered your app, you've bought your machines, you've done everything, but then you can't create a customer and you're broke. You have an expensive hobby. And anyway, so that's the reason why creating a customer actually is the core the core purpose behind your business. And I try to explain to them that if you look at things from that perspective, then actually the marketing function of the business is the most important function that we have to engage in. Now, Peter Drucker, who came up with this theory, Peter Drucker is the one where I was first exposed to the theory. I'm not sure if he came up with this theory. Now, the most important function of a business is to create a customer. Now, Peter Drucker says that to create a customer, you need two business functions. And then those are, number one, innovation. Number two, marketing. Now, people talk about innovation and strategy all the time, so I'm not going to bother with that. And I didn't bother with that with them. So I only talk about the marketing function. So the marketing function is the most important thing that you have to do. Because, of course, you don't exercise the marketing function, you don't create a customer, you don't find market, in quote, as we say in this part of the world, then there's nothing or no opportunity over which to do any kind of innovation, whether in the environment or in tech space or whatever it is that you want to innovate on. So, of course, if you look at things in this sense, then finding and engaging with potential customers or with prospects is central, is the most important thing to the whole point of why you're in business in the first place. Now, that's the reason why you aspiring founders, those who are listening to the summary recording right now, that is the reason why you should absolutely love sales dynamics. A lot of people think there's something you should run away from. So whether you call it sales dynamics, whether you call it marketing, whether you call it go-to-market, whether you call it, what are those other words? Anyway, they escape me now. Whatever it is you want to call it, you should absolutely love XYZ. Whatever you want to call it, pick your favorite term, you should be in love with it. Aspiring founders, you should be in love with sales dynamics because sales dynamics are what are going to help you to validate your business idea. It is only when you go out and start trying to talk to people and start trying to sell something that you're going to know which of your ideas, your aspiring founder ideas, are going to work. So, love sales dynamics. That is what is going to tell you which idea is workable. And then if you are pre-seed or you got a little bit of money, you should love sales dynamics, for the same reason. It's going to help you to validate your business idea. It's also going to help you to figure out who your ideal customer base is. Because it's only from talking to people buy from you. Some people reject you. Some people say, get the hell out of here. That's how you're going to figure out who it is that is your ideal target base, your ideal customer base, your customer avatar, whatever term it is that you want to call it. Another thing that I wanted to point out to the group is when it comes to sales or the marketing function, different people have a penchant for naming, calling things differently. But let's just know that no matter what the term, you find that the meanings are similar. So whoever is your guru, whichever framework it is that you're following, you're going to be just fine. Then I also ran them through suspect versus prospect because, yes, we're looking for anybody who might be interested in our product or our service, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody that we talk to is a prospect for doing business. So I warned them that I was going to be using the term interchangeably, prospect or suspect, and that most people in business circles and marketing circles use the terms interchangeably, but there is a difference. A prospect, let's start from a suspect. A suspect is anyone who might be interested in your product or your service. So back to the lawyer example, or back to the wedding photographer example. Anybody who might need a lawyer because you're a tenant and you're quarreling with your landlord, or let's see, what else? Or let me see. Or you're in business, you think somebody's stealing your idea, or you're a politician, you think that your opposition robbed you of your electoral victory, or to the wedding photographer thing, anybody who is a possible bride, the sister of a bride, the mother of a bride, the brother of a bride, the father of a bride, so that's suspect level thinking. We're just looking for anyone, and I mean absolutely anyone within reason who might be interested. That's a suspect. A prospect, on the other hand, is when we engage with a suspect, we start having conversations with them, and then it looks like, okay, this person is a serious person that is worth investing time, investing money in to see if we can squeeze out a deal on the end. So that's the difference. That's the difference. A suspect is anybody under the sun who might be interested. A prospect is someone that you have reason to believe that this might become a deal, either because the person has showed their hands, said I'm interested, or the person has taken an action step that you initiated that showed that they are interested. And so with that, we did some discussions about the role of conversion in getting promising leads, either from suspects or prospects or whatever it is that we call them. Now, conversion. The reason why I had to stress this whole conversion thing is because when people think at the level of suspects or prospects, everybody is thinking as large as possible. Let me see how I can get 1,500 people to show their hands. Let me see how I can broadcast my message. Let me see how I can create that lead funnel. Let me see how I can do this to get 1.5 million Nigerians interested and blah, 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 blah. Now, that's good. To get tons of people into your marketing ecosystem is good, and it's a laudable goal. But the thing is, if we're not good with conversion, then we're going to be losing lots of leads. Now, conversion are the tiny steps that we build into the relationship, the things that we try and get people to do, the action points that get people to show that they're interested in taking the next step. So conversion essentially is moving people along the next step. If we're not good at conversion, we're not going to be good at getting leads at the end of the day. So for the wedding photographer, you print a ton of flyers, you go to your church on a Sunday morning, and you stick it on everybody's car. And hopefully, over the course of a month, some folks will call you, some folks won't. Some people will say, young man, I saw your flyer. How much does it cost? And you have some conversations. You're not sure whether it's going here or there. But the day that somebody calls and says, oh, I saw your flyer last week Sunday. I'm getting married in 2 months' time. I'm new in Abuja. I'm new in Lagos. I don't know any wedding photographers. How much do you charge? Or whatever. Now, in this case, that sounds different. Somebody has called expressing interest with a date. It looks like there's a need. So, in this case, it looks like we might have a prospect. So if you call up, engage in conversation, and then let's say you fix a meeting date and she agrees to a meeting date, you come over to her office or she comes over to your studio, that is conversion. You've gotten the person who called, the lady who called, to take the next step and to do something to show that she's serious about engaging your services as a wedding photographer. That is conversion. That is where the magic happens. Engaging with people, having conversations, orchestrating next steps, trying to get them to do something that deepens the relationship with you, that shows a commitment, and that is all what conversion is about. So conversion is key. It's not just about how huge your funnel is. And just in case you were there at the live session and I didn't stress it enough, I'm stressing it again. Size of the funnel, cool. I mean, it's good. If you can get 1.5 million Nigerians keying in on your thing, wonderful. But if you are bad at conversion, you're going to waste all the money that you've gotten from the OCIF. You'll take that, you'll run Facebook ads, you do TV, you'll do video. You're not going to get business at the end of the day because you're really poor at conversion. Now, another thing I tried to point out was that prospecting is the cornerstone of all sales dynamics or all go-to-market motions or all whatever it is you want to call it, business scaling, business growth, market entry, market whatever, market expansion. It's all built on this thing called prospecting. Prospecting is the cornerstone. Prospecting is the foundation because prospecting is the act of going out to look for people who might be interested, engaging in with conversations with them, After you engage in conversation, you now try and figure out who is serious, who is just curious, who is a time waster. You throw away the time wasters, the people who are curious, try and nurture the relationship. The people who are serious, you engage in more conversations to try and move the deal along. I mean, that's essentially what prospecting is. If nobody is going out and asking themselves those questions, who is interested, where do they hang out, where can I find them, how do I start the conversation, then there is no sales dynamicking happening. There is no go-to market motioning happening. There is no market penetration strategy happening. There is no market expansion whatever it is you want to call it. It ain't happening. If you don't have prospecting, then it ain't happening. So, unfortunately, you go to school, you study IT, you're a sharp guy, you're a sharp girl, you're a smart lawyer, or whatever. You think it's beneath you to start chasing people. I'm sorry. In the beginning, we all have to chase someone. Let's just get it out of our heads. You might be fancy, you might be smart, but in the beginning, we might have to chase someone. Yeah, eventually, you'll have a sales team behind you, especially for those of you who are with this program, Faith Foundation, OCIF, what else? Elumelu Foundation. Okay, Elumelu Foundation, I don't think they give grants. Okay, yeah, they do give grants. But whoever it is, you get some money. We all have to talk to someone. So prospecting is the cornerstone. Then we also looked at market research, and I wanted to explore the whole topic of questionnaires and surveys versus prospecting conversations. Now, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because lots of people, especially people who have tech-driven ideas, want to just create a questionnaire survey. They want to put something out on Google Docs, or they want to create a form and give it to people for people to fill and hand it back to them. And for them, that's the extent of the market research. Now, if you're going to engage in business that way, congratulations. That actually is a very, very, very good idea. Because there's no point in rolling out a product where you haven't done any market research at all. But this is the problem with your survey or your questionnaires. Usually, your questionnaire or your survey has lots of assumptions that you have made. And when you send out these questionnaire or surveys, you're asking other people to validate your assumptions, but you are not tapping into whether your assumptions are really hitting the mark, or whether your assumptions are the cocoa or the main thing around which to build your business idea. Now, that's why I think in the beginning, prospecting conversations are everything. Go out, speak to someone, have a conversation, especially for those of you who are exploring some groundbreaking stuff, like a lady who has an app. I think I'll interview her for the podcast later. An app around getting data that the police can use to solve crime, car theft. And someone else who his own thing was he was farming maggots for animal feed. Yes, maggots for animal feed. You heard me correctly. It's interesting the kind of businesses that Nigerians are involved in. Real cool stuff. Anyway, so you have to do some kind of research before you go and build that app, or before you start breeding maggots. But it will be a mistake to start this whole thing off with assumptions that you just begged people to validate in your Google survey. But rather, if you go out and talk to people, good morning, sir. Good morning, ma. You raise pigs. I'm thinking of starting a business. I want to use maggots in animal feed, blah, blah, blah. How do you feed your pigs? What kind of potassium do you need in your pigs? Just ask questions in general. Or you talk to the police person. How do you guys solve car theft? What kind of IT solutions are you guys using right now? What is wrong with the solutions? Blah, blah, blah. When you're having all those kinds of exploratory conversations, it now gives you a sense of what it is that is key, what it is that is important. Because if you start building this app without talking to the police, you might build all kinds of fancy stuff and you launch it, and then the police people look at you and like, look at this young girl. She thinks everything is all tech and IT. No problem. You'll be on network news. People will clap for you, and you'll make the press rounds. But at the end of the day, they're not going to use it because it's not workable, or it doesn't provide the kind of information that they need. There's also the same thing with the maggot farm, or whatever idea it is that you have. So when you talk to people, you get to see what they are interested in. You get to know what pinches them, how bad, where it's paining them, and you're going to now design your idea, your farm, your app, your business around things that actually do move the needle. Now, it is when you have engaged in that exercise of having prospecting conversations that you can now create the questionnaire or the survey, because now it's not your assumptions. You've gone out into the market and you now know what the market is thinking, and you just need further data to refine your thesis. So that is why I advise that before you sit down and do SurveyMonkey, Google Forms, whatever it is that is out there, go and have conversations with people. Figure out what's the problem. Where is it pinching them? What are the kind of outcomes that they're looking for? Then you're going to be able to come up with better ideas. And like I said, prospecting is also going to help you identify who your actual target market is. Because you might be talking to police officers thinking that car theft is a big problem. And maybe you might find out that, right now police are paying attention more to 419. That's advanced fee fraud. And, that's where all the action is. So those are the people that they're trying to clamp down on now. Maybe especially because, if they clamp down on 419 and you retrieve the funds, then it's, maybe there's a financial angle there. With the more funds you retrieve, then maybe it helps, Nigeria retrieve stolen funds, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm just freestyling here. But bottom line is, you might figure out that, you might think the police are your key target market and you're thinking of traffic police. But you might actually find out when you start engaging in conversations that your ideal target market, yes, is the police, but instead of the traffic or the theft division, it might actually be the financial crimes division or the anti-money laundering division, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you get the point. So prospecting conversations, they're going to help you identify who the real people you're supposed to be working with in the first place. Let's see, what else? Okay, so the kinds of conversations that you should be having with people, try to stress that you're supposed to be having qualification, discovery, and need implication conversations. Now, those are just technical terms to say that you should be having the people conversations because you're trying to figure out who am I talking to, who might be interested, who are they, how old, what's the job, questions around the need. What are the problems that they're facing? What do they need my product to do? Stuff like that. And then implication questions, that's on how bad the problem is. Because if they have a problem, but the problem is not worth solving, then they're not going to engage with you, full stop. Of course, I gave them the example that I had with the last Faith Foundation lady, the one who was trying to sell powdered milk. And I tried to stress that, she was talking to the wrong people, essentially. She was talking to mothers who are stay-at-home mothers or mothers who already have people who stay at home, and she was trying to convince them to buy powdered pap. And being a young parent myself, my youngest is 4. I only have 2. So the younger one is 4. But for both of them, yes, we went through these sorts of issues. You want the child to be well fed and things like that. And I pointed out to her that, look, for mothers who stay at home, or for mothers who have a younger sister or a younger brother staying at home, dry pap, wet pap, it's not a problem. They'll just do wet pap because wet pap is what they know. Wet pap is what we have had since the beginning of, all of us and our grandparents have been raised on wet pap. So if you're familiar with wet pap and somebody's talking about this powdered thing, you might be like, maybe not, because they don't have a problem. But then parents like my wife and I, who both had to work or build a business, for us it was key that if we drop our child off at the creche or we drop a child off with a friend or with someone, the person should be able to prepare the pap safely. So for folks like me and my wife, that was a huge problem to solve because wet pap was not going to cut it. You leave wet pap with someone, they don't put it in the fridge, the thing goes bad, they give it to your baby. Next thing, your baby is throwing up and having a runny tummy and then all of that. So you need to meet people that not only have a problem, but have a problem that is worth solving. If the problem is not worth solving, they're going to listen to you and they will say, good idea. God bless you. God will bless your hustle. You're going to grow big in Jesus' name, blah, blah, blah. Let me think about it. Let me talk to my husband. Let me talk to my this. Let me blah, 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 blah. And I'll call you later. And then you start going into voicemail. So it has to be a problem that is big enough that is worth solving. So that's the whole thing about need implication questions. We also looked about how you engage with people, whether online or offline, and what the best kinds of online engagements are, whether email, social media, DMs, or for offline engagement, whether it's face-to-face, phone calls, SMS, or WhatsApp. Now, the answer that I gave them was, it depends. It's contextual. So don't follow all these gurus running around online, podcasts, whatever, saying email is the best way to build your business in 2023. I mean, how? Maybe email might be the best way to build your business in 2023 if you are a lawyer or a wedding photographer, but maybe not if you're a pig farmer. You get the gist. So it all is contextual, whether online or offline, email, phone call, face to face, it's contextual. But I did stress that there's a hierarchy of outreach or engagement, and it starts with the more human at the top. So face to face. If you're face to face with someone, it's easier to convince, it's easier to track with the conversation because you can see body language, you can hear nuance, you can see expressions. Let's see, what else? I mean, you get the whole picture. So that's why face to face is the best because you're getting multiple points of data. The person is saying something, the person is looking a certain way, the person is standing a certain way, the person is frowning or smiling in a certain way, or the person might be saying all the right things, but while they're saying that they're eating it's possible that they're not really engaged, even if they're saying the right things, because while they're saying all the right stuff, their body is busy doing something else. So this is the richest form, face to face. After that, it's voice. So phone call, all of that. Then there's video, WhatsApp phone calls, blah, blah, blah. And then text-based at the bottom. SMS and WhatsApp better than email because email is much more official. And for some reason, all the official prompts seem to have less context behind them. So you send something in an SMS and in a WhatsApp, people might not read it as confrontational as if it comes through on an email. So yes, there is a hierarchy. But whether you should do online or offline, email, phone, face-to-face, it all is contextual. It depends on you. It depends on your relationship with the other person. It depends on the industry. It depends on your agenda, what you're trying to get the person to do. So it all depends. So that's it. Oh, yes, I also pointed out that they shouldn't worry too much about scaling engagement in the early days. The reason why I pointed that out is because people who are from a tech background, especially, or you app people, you seem to think that it's about hitting 1.5 million Nigerians, bam, straight from the beginning. Now, it's good if you can hit 1.5 million people, 2 million people, 5 million people. Yes, it's good if you can do that. But in the early days, it actually should be the more closer forms, face-to-face, one-on-one, because that is what gives you the data that you're going to need to scale the business. The example that I gave is a story. Well, this is anecdotal anyway. I haven't read the book, so I haven't confirmed, but I've heard from multiple sources that the boys behind Airbnb, I think it's Brian Chesky and some other chap. If I get the names wrong, forgive me. But definitely this Airbnb, I think they are with Y Combinator, a hub and a business incubation hub in America. Now, those boys, of course, like any other boy, whether Nigerian boy or Zimbabwean or South African, they wanted to blow and blow real big. So that was their thing. How did they scroll? How did they scale and all that? And one of the founders told them that, look, young men, take it easy. Be calming down. This is the early days. You guys are here with us, but your app is popping off in this part of America. Instead of staying here and be worrying about how people will scale, how you guys will blow, go over there. Go and meet your people. The people that have put their flats on Airbnb, have you met them? Do you know their names? Talk to them. Why do they think this is a good idea? What is working? What are the problems that they're having? The people that have actually started living in Airbnbs, go over there. Should be there out there. Go and talk to them. Why did they use it? What was the experience? What can we improve? Blah, blah, blah. And it turned out to be good advice. Because when they went there, live and direct, they started seeing things face to face. You see what's working, what's the problems, stuff like that. That is what helps you to refine the idea and get all the data that you need to scale later on. So in the early days, don't worry. Be doing the face to face, be doing the phone call, the one-on-one. Yes, it's stress to try and talk to 20 people in a week. It's a lot of stress. But the good thing is, you talk to 10 people this month, 20 people next month, maybe 5 the month after. But by the time you've done that for 5-6 months, you're now a specialist in the problem. You're a specialist in your customer. You know them, you know their pain points. So when you start scaling something, the chances are that everything is going to click. Because you're not sitting in your house, in your office, sitting with your spouse, with your business partners, and trying to guess things. You have had conversations with dozens of actual people, and you know what's up. So don't worry about scaling now. Do the hard work now. The prospecting, the talking, the engaging. Yes, it's stress. You waste money in credit, but you waste money, credit, fuel, and all that. But the thing is, when you're ready to scale, when you're now ready to do your Facebook advertising or whatever, your plans to reach 1.5 Nigerian youth or whatever, it's going to be a much more solid play because you have all the data and all the understanding that you need. So scaling is good. Don't worry about scaling now. Just be engaging now. Calm down. Get all the data that you need. You can scale later. Then I've also looked at sales funnels. Okay, you guys already know what a sales funnel is. No point in going into that. Let's see what else. Okay, we also looked at lead generation, and I just told them basically is a lead is a phone number or an email address or whatever that you get. A lead is just a phone number or an email address, something from a person that you can chase down to start having conversations with later on. So lead generation is essentially about signaling interest, getting people to signal whether they are interested or whether they are not. You can do that offline, that's in the real world, by using direct marketing. So back to the wedding photographer example, flyers. I take my flyers, I print out 2,000 flyers, and I say, you know what, this Sunday, I'm going to go to St. Leah's Church in Ikeja. And then next Sunday, I'm going to go to the church in Maryland. And then the Sunday after that, I'm going to go to the church in Victoria Island, and I'm going to continue until I exhaust my 2,000 flyers. I'm going to put them on every single car in church. Of course, I will try and hit up the churches where people have money. I'm not going to go to the local churches in Agege Pen Cinema or one of those places. Anyway, no disrespect to those of you who live in Agege. Anyway, where was I? Okay, yes. So offline methods, direct marketing. I take my flyers, I put it there, and then in the copy on the flyer, book now for 20% off by calling 080 blah 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 or SMS to this that. So that's direct marketing. So anybody who picks up the phone or who sends the SMS or who sends the email, the person has signaled interest. Congratulations, you have a lead. That is lead generation. Then, of course, there are online methods where people use content marketing and lead magnets. So you put out content, videos, podcasts, audio, TikTok, or whatever, to get people to download something or give you their phone number. I mean, you get the whole spiel. So once they give you the email address or the phone number online, however it is that you get it, congratulations, you have a lead. That is someone for you to call, to text, to visit, to SMS, to email, whatever, to see if you can do some business. So that's what lead generation is, essentially. Then, let's see. Okay, yes, then we also looked at lead nurturing. Now, the reason why lead nurturing is important is because, like I pointed out at the beginning, not everybody who gets in touch is interested in doing business now. Some people are just curious, and then some people are waka pass. That's Nigerian for I'm just passing through. And if you don't think that happens, then listen to the podcast episode that I made before this one, where I was at a business session where I was passing through different booths. And really, I was just a waka pass. I was just passing through and picking up flyers. Not like I was going to do business. But just because I have business podcasts and I'm curious about how people sell, I was just passing through to see what else is out there. So it happens. There's somebody who might never buy a person just a waka pass. Some people are merely curious. So lead nurturing or having a relationship building sequence or relationship nurturing sequence, it all means the same thing. It just means this. Somebody has shown their hand. I'm interested. But they don't want to do business now. No problem. So what do? We need to come up with a way to remain top of mind. So that is where email campaigns come in, or like wedding planners used to do back in the day. You speak to a number of brides, you follow them on Instagram, you get them to follow you. They're not ready now, but every single time you post, you show up on their timeline. They see you like, okay, this wedding planner, so and so, or this wedding photographer, so and so. That's the whole gist. We're trying to find ways to remain top of mind. Something that I've been trying to do recently. I have chats with people on WhatsApp, and for those people who like to view people's WhatsApp statuses, is that statuses or stati? So, for those of you who like to view WhatsApp statuses or stati, they get to see all the stuff that I'm putting up every now and then. That's also a way that you can remain top of mind. So, it doesn't have to be email campaigns. Email campaigns, that's a good one, or text-based campaigns. But then there's also all this other stuff as well. But that's the cocoa. That's the whole gist. The person is not ready now. Let them be seeing our face. Let them be hearing from us every once in a while, so that when they're ready, they remember. Because it does happen that somebody reaches out, they get in touch, they've stored your number and they're interested. But then when they're ready to make the decision, they're thinking, what was that guy's name? Was the guy's name Taveshima? Then they type Taver and then nothing comes up. They say, okay, was the guy's name Teve? Then they type Terver and then nothing comes up. And then I was like, did I get the spelling wrong? Then they type Tevar and they're like, ugh. And then they call somebody else. So that's the whole point with trying to remain top of mind. Then there was also some stuff about hitting up decision makers, and I tried to get them to be a little flexible on their understanding, because a lot of people assume that decision maker means Oga, the top dog, the top madam, that the person who's going to make the decision. So I tried to point out that we should try and be like our people in the children's space, people who sell children's food and children's toys and things like that. Now, people who sell children's stuff, they know that it is the child who is going to use it. So they have to advertise to the child. But they know that it is mommy and daddy that is going to pay for it. Okay, let me just leave it like that. So in this case now, who is the decision maker? Is it the kids or is it mommy and daddy who is paying? Now the toy people, they know that they have to do both. So they look for ways to advertise to the kids and also to advertise to the parents as well, so that they can make their money. And that should be our approach. The decision maker is not necessarily the person at the top of the pyramid. It could be the person who is paying for it. That is one decision maker. It could be the technical user, for those of you who have tech-related products. The person who has to actually use the app, use the software, that's the technical user. That person is also a decision maker. Let's see, what else? Okay, the person who is paying for it, the person who is using it. So it's possible that you're approaching an organization and you might need to be in touch with the MD, with the managing director. But it would also make sense to talk to the technical staff, the people who have to use the app. Then again, you'd also have to be in touch with people who are in procurement or accounting, because those are the people who are going to sign the check. Our guy is going to say, yes, go ahead. But procurement is going to be the person who will sign the check. So if you're thinking decision maker and you're only thinking of one person, you're going to miss road. You should be thinking of multi-threading and all the different parties that you need to be in touch with. Yes, this is the person that will say, hey, boys, let's go ahead. This is the person that is actually going to stroke the check. So talk to this person too. And these are the people that are going to use it at the end of the day. Talk to them as well. Get buy-in, get all their inputs. It will help move the business forward. Then we also spoke about networking. We're close to 40 minutes, so let me just round it up. So we spoke about networking. I have tons of episodes about networking here. So once you're done listening to this episode, just check, scroll through podcast episodes that have networking. You're going to get my own philosophy on what networking is, a much more richer perspective beyond going out and handing out business cards. Handing out business cards, talking about yourself, boasting, bragging, that is not networking. Then, let's see what else. Okay, we also talked about account-based marketing. Also have episodes about that as well. So I'm not going to delve into that since we're already at the 40-minute mark. So, summary. My chief contribution to the people who showed up for that session was to pose the question, who are you really? Are you the founder? Are you the CEO? Are you the promoter? Are you a technician? Are you an artist? And my answer was no. All those other titles are important, yes. They're very important. But at the end of the day, you are a salesperson, you are a marketer. Pick whatever term you prefer, but that is who you are. So you're not founder, CEO, you're not promoter, you're not a technician, you're not artist, because there are lots of wedding photographers in particular who run around saying that they're artists. Continue being an artist. Let's see how you pay for school fees. You are a salesperson. You are a marketer. Let's get that into your head. So that was my chief contribution, really. Once you know and you own it, that you're selling something and that you're a salesperson and that you're a marketer, then you'll be fine. So, of course, there was also question and answer. That'll be too much to lump into this episode, but yeah, I think that's it. I'll just bring it to a close here because really we're together for over 3 hours and we explored too many issues. Let me just bring it to a close here. So that's all for today, folks. Now, if you love what you've been hearing on the podcast and you run a business incubator, you run some entrepreneurial development initiatives, like Faith Foundation or whatever, and you have no professionals on tap for sales and business development coaching, you don't have any people to come in talk to your people on all these sorts of topics, then hit me up on 080 6466 2140. You can call, SMS, WhatsApp, Telegram, and let's make it happen. And for those of you who are part of the OCIF cohort for 2023, remember, connect with me on socials, especially on LinkedIn, where I spend most of my time. Any social media of your choice. My name is Tavishima Ayede. You can confirm the spelling of my name or my email address on the website where you're listening to this episode or the profile of the podcast app where you're currently listening to my voice. So thank you very much for your time and attention. For those of you who are members of the OCIF cohort, I'm looking forward to working with you guys some more. One of you has already been attached to me as a mentor through the Faith Foundation. I'll do my best to make sure that we help your business pop off and you achieve the personal and professional growth and development that you're striving for. So thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording.